Hi guys, Sci-Fi Recapped here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain a tense 2020 science fiction movie from France, called Meander. Make sure to watch until the end because there will be a bonus explanation about the movie. The movie starts with a woman lying in the middle of the road. Shortly after, she sees a car coming from a distance. She stands and moves aside in a daze before the car approaches her. The car decides to stop beside her and a man inside offers her a lift. On the way, they introduce each other as Lisa and Adam. They share about their respective lives where Lisa works as a waitress and Adam works as a night watchman. Lisa reveals that her daughter had died and today would have been her 9th birthday, therefore she wants to kill herself due to depression by lying in the middle of the road. After a while, she turns on the radio and hears the news of a man who has murdered 2 people. The report describes that the suspect is a white man with short hair, and has a cross tattoo on his right hand. At that moment, Lisa realizes that Adam is the murderer, who slams the brakes, throwing Lisa against the car dashboard. Lisa wakes up in a closed room with strange lights on the walls and there seems to be no way out. She is wearing a special suit and has a strange device attached to her wrist emanating a yellow light. Hysterically, she screams for help as she searches for a way out, until one of the doors slides open revealing a very long and narrow tunnel with an exit at the end. The door closes behind her as she crawls into the tunnel. The strange device on her wrist starts to sound an alarm and a timer briefly flashes showing 11 minutes counting down. At first all is going well, until a section of the wall in the tunnel suddenly shifts. Inevitably, she has to squeeze through an incredible narrow passage. She comes to a room with colorful lights on the walls while looking at the floating platform in the middle. When passing through the platform, it turns out that the platform functions like a hydraulic machine that can crush anything against the ceiling. With such a long distance, fortunately Lisa is still able to get away with very little time remaining. She gets frustrated afterwards while the timer shows 5 minutes remaining. Then she faces another long hallway with someone lying in the middle. Apparently that person is not a human, instead of a corpse that had been burned to death. Obviously, Lisa has to move the body slowly so she can pass through the hallway. Unfortunately, the body is too fragile, so it is a bit difficult to move the body. After she manages to pass, again the hallway in front of her rapidly closed by itself. The timer glows red and it shows a minute remaining, which triggers all the fire tubes in the hallway. Even so, a section of the wall behind her opens to provide a place to hide. She quickly scrambles into the space as a glass barrier closes her in. Sure enough, the flames pass through the hallway when the timer runs out. The hallway narrows again after the incident and the timer returns to 11 minutes. Lisa weeps through the narrow passage in a supine position. Luckily, she finds a puddle of water in the middle of the hallway. Then she decides to dive into the water while looking for another surface on the other side. Eventually, the place is flooded with water, leaving little room for Lisa to breathe. She tries very hard swimming to the next room. She carries on with ragged breaths. While she is resting, she hears a man's voice calling out for help. Lisa, who is very excited, has to pass through an acid pit with only thin ledges on either side to crawl on. Unluckily, her knee touches the acid, injuring her badly. At the end, she finds herself trapped behind a barrier. Additionally, there is a man trapped behind another barrier in front of her, and an open stretch of tunnel between them. The man speaks like he had lost his mind, his hair is long, and he has a beard, indicating that he has been in this place for a long time. In the middle of the conversation, a section of wall precipitously opens up in the tunnel between them. The fire tubes begin to line up on the walls, and both of their barriers are lifted at the same time. They immediately race to the safe space as the timer starts to count down. After struggling, Lisa gains the upper hand and forces the man into the tunnel by stepping on his hand. When the time is up, the glass barrier drops down severing his arm that is attached to the device. In a flash, she sees a cross tattoo on the man's right hand and realizes that it is Adam, who is burned alive as the flames fill the tunnel. She then passes out. She wakes up in the same place. A strange skull, attached to a mechanical tentacle, appears from the ceiling and heals her wounds. Then it attaches itself to a part of Lisa's suit and she experiences a flashback of Adam attacking her with a knife. She is being stabbed and falls from the car, until she sees a strange light in the sky. Back to Lisa's life, she leaves the safe place and takes Adam's arm with her. She examines it and sees there are 3 markings underneath the device attached to it. The markings are a diamond, a cross, and a diamond. Unexpectedly, a spinning blade appears in front of her, forcing her to move backwards. She narrowly escapes into a tunnel above. A strange creature appears from a section above her. It begins to chase her and finally she crawls through a narrow section of the tunnel, so the strange creature cannot fit through. Later, Lisa comes to a section with 2 tunnels to choose from. Remembering the markings on Adam's arm, she chooses to take the left hallway. As she enters the hallway, she hears her daughter's voice, named Nina. Lisa enthusiastically follows the voice into a bright white room. She sees all images of her life, from herself as a baby looking up at her father, until seeing her daughter falls to her death from a window. All of a sudden, the strange creature appears above her and descends into the room. It starts chasing her again through the next tunnel. She sees a bright cloudy sky at the end of the tunnel, but there are razor-sharp wires in the middle. With no other choice, she is forced to cross the wires, severely injuring herself. Fire tubes start appearing from the walls, then a safe space opens up which the creature decides to roll into. A hopeless Lisa closes her eyes while waiting to die. Just before the flames hit, surprisingly the floor opens up and she falls to safety. Strangely, she wakes up in the same room where she started in. Badly injured, she writes the symbols that she had seen with blood on the wall for someone else to find after her. The strange skull appears and begins to heal her again. Feeling depressed, she wants to die as she wipes the symbols from the wall. Unintentionally, she notices that she just needs to partially wipe the symbols. It turns out that the symbol does not show 2 diamonds and a cross, simply it is 6 arrows indicating directions to take. She impatiently sets out again. This time she easily passes the same obstacles as before, knowing how to overcome them. When she reaches the acid pit, she burns the device at her wrist and discovers her own set of markings underneath. Her markings are 2 crosses and a diamond, showing her which directions to take. The creature begins chasing her again as Lisa reaches the split in the tunnel. She throws her removed device down to one tunnel to lure the creature and takes the other. She discovers a strange biological door that leads to a womb-like space. She crawls inside and strange creatures, possibly aliens, can be seen moving on the other side of the womb. She leaves the womb by another exit and enters a similar room, where she notices her device is on the floor and the creature is trapped in a door ahead of her. She slowly retrieves the device, but it sets off an alarm which rouses the creature and it gives chase again. They move back into the hallway lined by fire tubes. Lisa manages to escape into the safe room and the glass barrier falls down. However, this time the flames don't come and the barrier opens up again. The wall starts pushing her back out into the tunnel with the creature. She wrestles with it, placing her foot on its head as the wall presses them both into the main tunnel. Its head is crushed against the wall, killing it permanently. At the last split in the tunnel, Lisa uses the last mark on her wrist which is pointing towards the right. When she begins entering the right tunnel, she finds her daughter, Nina, playing a ball at the left side. At last, she realizes her daughter is not real and tells Nina that she has to enter another way. Nina hugs her and says she is very proud of her mother, then disappears instantly. Lisa crawls into the final tunnel, and sees a bright cloudy sky at the exit. She happily crawls in but there are 3 blades falling at faster intervals. Initially, she is able to get past the first 2 falling blades, nevertheless the last blade is falling every 2 seconds, which seems impossible for her to pass. Nothing to lose, she forces herself to pass and almost makes it, but her foot is severed in half by the last blade. She crawls in despair to the exit with loss of blood, and finds it is merely a screen with a video of the sky. She starts crying as the fire tubes line up on the wall. Gradually, a miracle happens as the ceiling opens up and she floats upwards into a bright light. She wakes up outside on a rock in a very beautiful place. Her body is fully healed and Nina appears before her. Nina says that Lisa's body has died many times, but now she is safe and tells her to stay alive endlessly, showing that supposedly they are in heaven. Lisa and Nina were victims of Adam's murder. The white light that Lisa met in the flashback scene was the light seen when someone dies, assuming it's an angel. However, she was taken to the afterlife first and met Adam. The maze, timers, and strange creature represent the various tests that she must pass before she can go to a better place. If you're observant enough, the strange creature is Adam who was reanimated somehow. It can be seen in some scenes that the creature only has one hand. Adam, who was a bad person in his lifetime, is trapped forever in the maze. While Lisa, who always survives death, shows that during her life she was a good person. The womb that Lisa found earlier represents the process of rebirth. In conclusion, she had to leave everything that makes her as a human, so she's able to live in the afterlife. For example, she forgot the concept of time because it's irrelevant at the end of the movie. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.